JP, thanks for coming on. Tell me why you want to vote for Donald Trump.
Mr. Yoger, thank you for having me.
No problem.
I'm going to be honest. I enjoy seeing all the other debates, but I think we're missing some aura here, and we need to push back a little more. You keep referencing that Trump's a wannabe dictator. He wants to terminate the Constitution. You even referenced the fact that Trump said there's good people on both sides, and even Anna Kasparian agrees with me here. If you're going to attack Trump, you got to attack him with real facts. And the real facts, in my opinion, is that if you're a working class American, you should favor Trump. Reality is that
This fiery debate, we're diving deep into the charged discussion between JP, a Trump-supporting guest, and Cenk Uygur, known for his strong leftist stance. This intense exchange digs into issues like the working class appeal of Trump, influence on politics, and the direction of populism in America. JP makes a case that Trump's politics actually benefit the working class, while Cenk fiercely challenges these points, arguing Trump's policies only serve the wealthiest. Let's break it down and see where each side's argument holds up.
most billionaires that you consistently trash support Kamala Harris. Reality is that if you're a billionaire and you're not America first, tariffs hurt you much more than domestic deregulation. Reality is that most working class Americans remember the Trump years. Reality is that when you look at poll after poll, Trump is winning with Hispanic Americans. There's a plus 21% increase from 2016 to 2024. Actually, he's leading with Arab Americans. He's leading with Teamsters. 65% of Teamsters members support Trump. So the Young Turks, all of you guys love the working class, and I do too. So what's going on? Like, the working class is not catching up with the Young Turks. They're catching up with Trump.
Okay, so a bunch of things there. First of all, Anna does not agree with anything you just said there, other than she says on the both sides comment, he did later say that he's against white supremacists. So I say that's plausible deniability. I don't think there was any good people on that pro-Nazi, pro-Confederate side, but we can agree to disagree on that. Okay, now in terms of supporting billionaires, Donald Trump is pretty famously supporting Elon Musk, richest man in the world, also very much supporting, and he says it in all these cases, Sheldon and Miriam Adelson. They gave him a combined about $300 million in the 3 races that he did. He says, well, I like their money, so I'm gonna do whatever they want. So he moved our embassy in Israel because Sheldon Adelson asked him to. He made corruption charges against him go away with a minimal fine when he had apparently bribed people in China. And the list goes on and on of all the corrupt things that he wants to do in favor of billionaires. So yeah, I don't see how he's any better there. Yeah, the Teamsters members, hold on. And the last thing on that, just out of the things that you mentioned, the Teamster members are slightly on Trump's side. I see that. I love the Teamsters, and I praise Sean O'Brien's speech a lot at the RNC. I thought it was the best speech out of both conventions. But on the other hand, if you're gonna say that, all the rest of the unions support Kamala Harris. So by your logic, if we're going for unions and the common guy, then you should vote for Kamala Harris.
Here, Cenk attempts to flip JP's logic, pointing out that most unions back the Democrats. It's a clever counter, but it might miss JP's main argument about the larger working class momentum moving towards Trump. Is this point enough to refute JP's broader argument about the direction of populism? Cenk will need more than just union support to convince the viewers otherwise.
Yeah, but the interesting thing here is the momentum. We see a shift. We see Kamala Harris going out with Liz Cheney. We see Kamala Harris trying to appeal to the Bush Republican. And we see Trump picking JD Vance. JD Vance, if you guys remember, he was hated by the elites. JD Vance talked about family policy, about tariffs. He actually sometimes argued against tax cuts. JD Vance is the most populist figure that we've had in a presidential ticket in a while, with Donald Trump included. The momentum is there. The working class is moving in that direction. And actually, I believe that if you want to influence our politics into a working class direction, the Republican Party is the vehicle. My argument here, and I understand, I think you have a point. When you look at different elites within the country, of course, there's 2 major parties. Some elites are going to side with one party, some with another. But have you ever noticed that the elites that rely on domestic labor are the ones that support the Republican Party? It's people that make a lot of money with oil. It's folks that want to expand in the United States of America, folks that don't mind the tariffs that much. The people that are arguing against Donald Trump, the people that are throwing billions against Donald Trump, are the people that are concerned with the tariffs because they're not concerned about the American people. They're not concerned about industrial policy. They don't want meaningful jobs. They don't care about people committing suicide more than ever before in our entire history, more than the Great Depression, where we were 3 times poorer back then. Why are people killing themselves so much now? Reality is that America is destroying itself, and these elites backing Democrats are the ones that are yielding this self-destruction, this self-immolation, I must say.
So
JP is laying down some hard truths here, pointing out that it's the elites backing the Democrats who are leading America toward a path of self-destruction. He's absolutely right in drawing attention to the hypocrisies of these so-called champions of the working class who support policies that keep everyday Americans struggling. It's about time someone calls out these power brokers who say one thing but do another, all while claiming to be for the people. JP nails it here, showing the cracks in the Democrat elite's facade.
JP, look, if I thought JD Vance and Trump were actual populists, I'd back them. You know, Bernie Sanders was an actual populist. I loved it, backed him. I don't want the establishment of either party. But what kind of a populist says, let's give a $2 trillion tax cut to the corporations? What kind of populist says, hey, oil companies, give me $1 billion in campaign finance and I'll deregulate you, I'll give you more tax cuts. I mean, this is out and out corruption, and it has nothing to do with, it's the exact opposite of populism to give giant corporate tax cuts. How can you not see that?
You're fixating on that individual policy. And again,
yeah, it's a $2 trillion policy
within the Republican Party that agree with you here. But what I want to focus on here, which is important, is the reality is that you cannot just focus on that. You got to focus on the entire economy. If there's domestic deregulation and you incentivize domestic production, you increase the supply, therefore lowering inflation, while you focus on battling the externalization of markets in an increasingly globalized world where the world is increasingly transactional and the US is not.
JP hits a crucial point here, emphasizing that domestic deregulation and boosting American production can strengthen the US economy by reducing dependence on foreign markets. This approach isn't just about economics, it's about sovereignty and protecting American jobs from being outsourced. By focusing on local production, we can lower inflation, create more stable jobs, and keep wealth within the country rather than watching it go overseas. This strategy aligns perfectly with the needs of the working class Americans, who have been sidelined by globalist policies for decades.
Every country applies tariffs, and we're one of the only countries in the world that goes, you know what? Actually, no tariffs is better. Free markets, free markets, free markets. My question is, if it's that easy, if free markets are the best, why aren't all the countries in the world doing it? Why is the US the only one that's like free markets, free markets, free markets? And reality is because the mega billionaires, actually like the Koch brothers, Bernie Sanders used to agree with me here, and I'm sure you did too. They like not having tariffs. They don't care that much about some corporate tax rates. They don't care that much about paying a little more in taxes. They make billions from externalizing labor, from making the Chinese build cheap goods. And meanwhile, Americans are jobless, they're suffering, and again, they're committing suicide in massive rates. And the people that are talking about this, the people that are actually innovating, when you read the American Conservative, the American Mind, and these publications, when you read what J.D. Vance once used to write and now talks about, they actually have a policy. They actually have a vision that looks at the complete picture. And to look at the complete picture, you must deal with the world first, not just, tax cuts, tax cuts. Tax cuts are not increasing tax is not the most populist policy. I would agree. I would actually argue tariffs are very populist.
Yeah, 76% of Americans believe that corporations have too much monopoly power and are using it to abuse the average American. They're 100% right. And Donald Trump says, yeah, let's deregulate them and give them more tax cuts to empower them to continue corporate rule and abuse us. We're in a fascinating, bizarre world where now the right wing is against free markets. So that's fascinating and interesting.
Supporting Trump then. most billionaires support Kamala Harris. You talk about Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the exception.
Okay,
You
so
know this.
JP, so as I explained earlier, we're #1 in energy production. So the idea that Biden and Obama and Harris didn't drill enough is absurd. You've got to admit that that's absurd.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's absurd. Second of all, that goes into a giant global market. So let me ask you guys specific questions about that. So we give about $30 billion in subsidies every year to the oil companies. What the hell are we doing that for? They're the most profitable companies in the world. Why does ExxonMobil need my money? And Donald Trump says, no, give it to them. Well,
Hits a nerve here. He's right to be outraged. Why should hardworking American tax dollars go to prop up oil giants like ExxonMobil? This just doesn't line up with the populist message that Trump and his supporters push. If Trump really is the champion of the working class, it's hard to justify funneling money into an already highly profitable corporations instead of directly helping struggling families. Cenk's criticism resonates here. These kinds of policies don't add up for the everyday American.
what kind of populist is this? And why? He says, because they give me a lot of money. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's open corruption. He's just putting a for sale sign up. That's not a populist, that's a fake populist. And look, I don't understand why you guys can't see the con, right? So the guy, he runs a fake university, he runs a fake charity, he has to pay $25 million fine for his fake university and $2 million fine for his fake charity. He uses the money to buy a 6-foot portrait of himself and pay his legal bills. And you don't think that maybe he's conning you and that he's not actually a populist and he's just looking out for Elon Musk and Jeff Yaz and the Adelsons and the oil companies that are giving him money? I mean, how could you not see it? He even says it.
I'd love to hear your guys' opinion down in the comments below about all the points that were made within this video. I always like to hear other people's opinion. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.